Now at 6, redacted and released. But Democrats are demanding the full Russia report and testimony by Robert Mueller himself.
No, I don't think justice has been served. Not at all.
President Trump wants it to be over. In many ways, we're just beginning.
Plus, a local doctor facing child pornography charges what he's accused of doing with a minor. And
I've had enough of it. I'm sick of it, and so are you.
Star power at the picket lines. Former VP Joe Biden makes a trip to Dorchester, throwing his support behind the Stop and Shop strike.
And we're warming up, but not without a few weekend showers. How they could impact your Easter Sunday. The news at 6 starts now.
We begin with breaking news out of Dorchester. A dramatic scene unfolding this afternoon after a 2-alarm fire broke out at a home on Bowdoin Street. This cell phone video shows the flames shooting from that building. 2 people have been taken to the hospital with minor injuries.
And check this out. Cell phone video from another NBC 10 Boston viewer shows a person you see right on the top of that awning right there crawled out of a top floor window of the burning home, then onto the overhang, then rescued by people gathered on the ground right there. The fire department there says the fire caused about $500,000 worth of damage. Investigators are working to find out the cause.
After years of waiting,
no collusion, no obstruction.
The report is out. What's in it, what's not, and what it means moving forward.
This should never happen to another president again.
Plus, the president still touting a win as Democrats demand more answers.
Attorney General Bill Barr claiming 10 possible episodes of obstruction by President Trump, but nothing illegal. Thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Jason Monahan.
And I'm Chris Emmett. That's just one of the key takeaways from the 449-page report, which also confirms Russia tried to interfere with the 2016 presidential election, but the investigation did not establish any conspiracy between the Trump campaign and Russia. This all, of course, just scratching the surface of the nearly 2-year probe. Let's get straight to our live team coverage.
NBC 10's political reporter Allison King spoke with local lawmakers tonight, but we begin with Audrey Asistio in studio. And Audrey, we understand President Trump had quite the reaction when he first found out a special counsel was appointed to the case.
That's right, JC. President Trump calling this a complete victory, but the redacted document reveals a different picture, revealing the president was threatened by Mueller and even wanted to fire him.
Nearly 2 years in the making, special counsel Robert Mueller's Russia report is finally public with redactions. According to the report, when President Trump learned Mueller had been appointed in May 2017, he panicked, launching an expletive saying, "Oh my God, this is terrible. This is the end of my presidency." In Mueller's 448-page report, he details several examples of potential obstruction of justice, including the firing of FBI Director James Comey, and one instance where the president directed then White House lawyer Don McGahn to order Mueller's firing. McGahn refused. The report says the president's efforts were mostly unsuccessful, largely because the people around him declined to carry out orders. But that does not exonerate him. Mueller writing, "If we had confidence that the president clearly did not commit obstruction of justice, we would so state." Still, the president declaring victory.
I'm having a good day, too. It was called no collusion, no obstruction.
Mueller found no criminal conspiracy between the Trump campaign and Russia, something highlighted today by Attorney General William Barr, echoing a frequent phrase from the president.
As he said from the beginning, there was, in fact, no collusion.
That not sitting well with Democrats. Also upset the president's lawyers got a look at the report earlier this week, days before Congress.
The special counsel made clear that he did not exonerate the president, and the responsibility now falls to Congress to hold the president accountable for his actions.
Strengthening their calls to see the full report without redactions.
Barr will be on the Hill to testify early next month. Democrats are officially calling for Mueller to testify as well. Barr says he has no problem with the special counsel speaking to Congress. In studio, Audrey Asistio, NBC 10 Boston.
Audrey, thank you. And while that report shows the Trump campaign did not collude with Russia during the 2016 campaign, keep in mind this was a redacted report.
Local lawmakers demanding to see the report in its entirety. Senator Elizabeth Warren and also presidential hopeful tweeting, quote, "It's a disgrace to see an attorney general acting as if he's the personal attorney and publicist for the president of the United States." Congressman Seth Moulton echoing that same concern, writing, quote, the Attorney General should not be acting as the press secretary for the president. And Senator Ed Markey making note that President Trump continues to deny that the Russians interfered with the 2016 election. Today he tweeted, quote, where is the White House commitment and plan to stop that in 2020?
Let's bring in our political reporter, Allison King. And Allison, Senator Markey also spoke out this afternoon about the report, right?
Well, that's right. Senator Markey says the Mueller report paints a deeply disturbing pattern of conduct by the president. And a professor at Boston University Law School says more charges are likely coming given all the material that was redacted.
The report contains multiple instances of the president being untruthful.
Boston University law professor Jack Bierman says the lying by President Trump documented in the Mueller report is one of the most troubling findings. Bierman says it seems clear that Trump has been exonerated of collusion, but not on obstruction.
The ultimate conclusion of the report states the only reason that the president didn't succeed in obstructing the investigation is because other people in the administration wouldn't go along with him. So I think it's pretty clear from the report that the special counsel thought that the president obstructed justice.
President Trump wants it to be over. In many ways, we're just beginning.
Senator Ed Markey is not at all ready to close the book on the Mueller report based on several findings, including this one. The special counsel says if we had confidence after a thorough investigation of the facts that the president clearly did not commit obstruction of justice, we would so state. But Robert Mueller did not clear the president of obstruction.
This means that any claims by the president and his allies that he is exonerated of obstruction of justice are completely untrue.
No, I don't think justice has been served. Not at all.
Congressman Stephen Lynch says one does not have to be successful to obstruct justice.
At the end of the day, I think Bob Mueller left it open for Congress to further review whether obstruction of justice had occurred.
Now, both Lynch and Markey say impeachment could still be in the cards for Trump, but not before Congress does its job, which means hearings, more investigation, and a likely call for Robert Mueller to testify. Live in the newsroom, Allison King, NBC 10 Boston.
Allison, thank you so much. And you, of course, can stick with NBC 10 Boston for continuing coverage on the Mueller report. And take a look at it for yourself by heading online at NBC10Boston.com or on our free mobile app.
Now to your first alert weather, and a cloudy Thursday for sure, tracking some showers for tomorrow right into the weekend.
That's right. Our meteorologist Pamela Gardner in for Pete tonight. And Pamela, beautiful day yesterday, not so much today.
No, this is the transition day as promised, as advertised. We have some rounds of drizzle, low clouds, overcast skies. That's going to rule for the rest of this evening. Our temperature is nice and cool in the 40s and 50s, but a warming trend overnight tonight as a warm front continues to lift northward through New England. But we have all of this precipitation back to the west and across the deep south that has to move through eventually. And this may move through by the time we head into the weekend. But first, into your Friday forecast, our temperatures actually go up to near 60 degrees by midnight tonight. And then we continue the upward trend with our temperatures with waves of dry weather for Friday. I think there will be plenty of dry opportunities to enjoy the warm temperatures. We'll be near 70 degrees for those highs by late afternoon, but it turns rather windy. The wind and rain timing coming up all in your 10-day forecast.
This is wrong. This is morally wrong what's going on around this country. And I've had enough of it. I'm sick of it. And so are you.
Joe Biden not holding anything back, spotted on the streets of Dorchester today, throwing his support behind striking Stop and Shop workers. The former VP taking a stand for thousands who walked off the job last week after contract negotiations broke down.
We have team coverage tonight. Caroline Connolly spoke with a political analyst about Biden's appearance, but we begin with NBC 10's Abby Nisgoda. Abby?
And the picket lines outside of this and more than 200 other New England stores have already received a lot of attention, but the union hopes the support of a big-name politician will make a big difference when it comes to their negotiations.
1 week after Stop and Shop workers walked off the job, one voice they hope will help get their message across.
This is wrong. This is morally wrong what's going on around this country.
Former Vice President Joe Biden attending a rally outside a store in Dorchester, supporting their supermarket strike over stalled contract negotiations.
I'm sick and tired of the way we're not being treated.
better wages, more benefits, just some of the demands from more than 30,000 workers on strike. Also here to support them, Boston Mayor Marty Walsh.
Don't cross the line! Don't cross the line!
In a statement, the Quincy-based chain said, quote, "We've offered fair and responsible contracts and remain in active negotiations to keep our associates among the highest paid grocery retail workers in New England." But as the picket lines get louder, the shelves inside the stores become emptier, and workers hope Biden adding his voice to their fight will help resolve it.
Don't give up. Keep it going.
I mean, it's huge. It's huge. We'll have as much support as we can possibly have. We need the attention right now.
And those workers tell me the chain is trying to get them to cross the picket lines and come back to work, but so far they are refusing. That's why tonight's Stop and Shop is apologizing to its customers for the inconvenience. We're live in Dorchester. I'm Abby. Let's go to NBC 10 Boston.
All right, Abby, thank you so much. And our team coverage continues now with NBC 10's Caroline Conley. And Caroline, he has not announced yet, but could Biden's appearance today be taken as a power move for the White House?
Well, look, supporting the labor unions out here this afternoon is certainly a good move if he's thinking about that. But if Joe Biden were to announce he's running in 2020, he's going to face a lot of challenges.
Joe Biden.
2 years out of office, former Vice President Joe Biden could now be seeking the highest office. And his message landed well here.
We will take back this country.
Biden brought his voice to back labor unions today. A smart move for someone seeking to run in 2020. But it's unclear if he'd get far.
This is kind of like almost a nostalgia tour, like watching Bruce Springsteen or Styx.
Political analyst Tom Whalen thinks Biden is a nod to the past and likely not what voters, especially younger ones, would want in 2020. This would be the 76-year-old's third bid for the presidency, and he faces a packed field that includes familiar faces like Bernie Sanders and new ones who are already gaining traction.
I think he has to come up with new ideas and new policies, kind of stay the course. So let's bring back the Obama years. Just isn't going to cut it now.
But he still carried support here today.
I like a lot of the candidates. Biden's my number one if he runs.
Joe Biden all the way.
But whether that would carry him all the way to 2020 remains to be seen.
Don't give up. Keep it going.
Now, even if Joe Biden is not a top contender in this race, I should say, analysts say it's going to be a tight race, and they think it's going to be tight all the way to the convention. We're live in Dorchester this afternoon and evening. I'm Caroline Conley, NBC 10 Boston.
Sky Ranger on the Cape after a car slammed straight into a bakery, hurting 4 people inside. One of those people rushed to the hospital with serious injuries. You can see right here, those crews boarding up that gaping hole in the wall of the Eat Cake for Breakfast bakery. No word yet on what caused that crash or if the driver has been charged.
A New Bedford doctor is under arrest facing child pornography charges. Police say the physician exchanged messages and photos with a 14-year-old boy, then allegedly offered the teen money in exchange for sex. Perry Russum reports from Attleboro, where the suspect faced a judge.
Prosecutors say a Dartmouth doctor, Sujan Kayastha, has been under investigation for the last 4 months, accused of soliciting sex from a 14-year-old boy. It started in December when staff at a group home in Attleboro noticed large hickey marks on both sides of the victim's neck. He also had 2 $100 bills.
There were concerns that the juvenile, a 14-year-old male, was being sexually exploited.
Investigators searched the 14-year-old's phone and say Kayastha was communicating with him on Snapchat. Prosecutors say they were sending nude photos and discussing engaging in sexual activity for the price of $200. Kayastha was arrested at his home in Dartmouth yesterday.
It looked like cops walking through the house, and they kind of surrounded it from different areas.
Kayastha has been a doctor at St. Luke's Hospital in New Bedford since 2013. According to his profile on their website, now removed, he worked as a hospitalist taking care of patients admitted to St. Luke's. A spokeswoman for South Coast Health says we are disturbed to learn of the allegations and arrest of Dr. Sujan Kayastha. Dr. Kayastha has immediately been relieved of his duties pending review of this matter. His bail was set at $75,000 cash.
He faces indictment on these charges, as well as other charges of aggravated statutory rape, which are forthcoming.
Kayastha's wife was in court today. She was clearly confused about what was going on. She said she knew nothing about the allegations. In Attleboro, Perry Russum, NBC 10 Boston.
We have new information about a fight last night during what police say was an unruly night at the House of Blues. A Newton man was arrested for allegedly pushing and punching security staff outside a Kodak Black concert. Now, that concert was canceled after Black was arrested in Canada. And just in, new video of Black, as you see him here, leaving prison today, hiding his face with a handful of cash. Police say they found marijuana and a gun in his car.
Well, Sky Ranger over Chelsea this morning, where police say a 60-year-old woman died after she was hit by an MBTA bus. Tonight, police have identified that victim as Mary Ellen Patiglio of East Boston. Police say that bus was heading inbound at the Everett Avenue on-ramp to the Tobin Bridge at the time of that crash. We've been told that the driver, who has not been identified, has been working for the T for 12 years. Well, now investigators are looking into what caused the driver to hit that pedestrian.
After the operator's been interviewed by our investigators, they will be sent for a drug and alcohol test, which is standard operating procedure, and they will not be operating the bus until this investigation is complete.
We're told another woman, a relative of the victim, was also injured.
Wild scene out of Westford. Take a look at the photos. You can see that truck tipped over onto its side. This is on Sawmill Road. Police say a tree removal service was on site working when the crane actually sunk into that wet grass, resulting in this mess. We're told, though, no one was hurt.
What a mess. All right, tonight in Epping, New Hampshire, the school board plans to hold a meeting over this T-shirt. We brought you this story last week when a student's Make America Great Again shirt sparked controversy at a school. The principal told her to cover up the shirt, saying it could be offensive to other students. That meeting gets underway tonight at 7 o'clock.
Mayor Walsh was in the Back Bay today to honor the memory of 2 fallen firefighters. This cherry blossom tree has been dedicated to firefighter Michael Kennedy and Lieutenant Edward Walsh, who were killed while fighting a 9-alarm fire back in 2014. Now today, their firehouse on Boylston Street is dedicating the tree to them as a way to honor their sacrifice.
A beautiful tree right there.
Love those. First alert weather now, and we're taking a live look over Boston, where it is definitely cloudy. Not a great day, but this is what we're watching for tomorrow. This is a line of rain moving in, so get ready for a wet weekend ahead.
Yeah, hopefully it holds off a little bit for Easter Sunday. Meteorologist Pamela Gardner joining us right now. So Pamela, I'm hoping for the best here.
Oh yes, we're keeping our fingers crossed because it is a big vacation week and a big travel weekend as well. We have Good Friday, we have Passover, and Easter Sunday. The second half of Sunday looks drier than the first half, so things are looking up. There will be some waves of rain as we go into your Saturday forecast. Warm temperatures as we go into your Friday, and rather windy. The winds will gust as early as overnight tonight, and we're already starting to feel the wind pick up a bit. Soggy for Easter morning and then clearing by the afternoon. Here's a look at the live radar, and we have some waves of drizzle as well as a couple spot showers, but overall it will be a pretty dry night. Our temperatures, yes, running very cool. Upper 40s and low 50s. Satellite radar imagery shows mostly cloudy skies, and that's going to be the case for the rest of the night. Waves of drizzle, and we get the idea too, some spot showers. But the main event, still back to our west and down to our south. Tons of tropical moisture with this system. Our dew points will increase, meaning it will feel uncomfortable and a little muggy the next several days, but at least we'll see the warming trend. Overnight tonight, our temperatures on the rise, low 50s to upper 50s and low 60s by Friday morning. We're waking up to 64 degrees in Boston at about 8:15 in the morning. Our exclusive in-house forecast network still shows a few waves of drizzle, but not a bad Friday for us. Plenty of dry opportunities to enjoy the 70s. A high of 70 in Boston, 71 in Lynn, 72 degrees in Lowell, and we'll be slightly cooler along the south coast, Cape and Islands, thanks to that south-southeast wind. Winds gust between 30 and 40 miles per hour from the south as we go through your Friday forecast, and the wind does stay strong Friday night into Saturday. That combined with the heavy rain potential and urban and small stream flood threat, and that's why we have a first alert for Friday night into Saturday. So Friday and Saturday morning, this is our first wave of widespread heavy rain. 1 to 2 inches of rain possible across western and especially central Massachusetts through Sunday morning. Eastern Massachusetts, we may be slightly a little bit to the east of that axis of heaviest rain, but if this shifts just ever so slightly, we may be under some flood watches. That remains to be seen for us here in Boston, but Worcester County will have a flood watch for urban and small stream flooding. Here's Sunday morning, 8 o'clock, waking up for those Easter egg hunts and church service on Easter. Well, the first half of the day is going to be soggy, but We slowly try to push this line of rain out to sea by late Sunday night. Second half of the day looks much drier than the first half, but the rain totals have backed off a little bit with our latest forecast guidance. Through Sunday morning, about 1/2 inch to 1.5 inches, with the higher totals perhaps across central and western Massachusetts. That's where a flood watch is issued for Friday night into Saturday for Worcester County. Other flood threats for this weekend, if you're traveling across the Northeast anywhere across New England. High flood threat for rivers, street flooding moderate, flash moderate, and coastal flooding an issue too along the south coast. Because of that south wind, we could actually see some minor coastal flood threats for tomorrow night, something we'll be watching during the astronomical high tide. First alert there on the 10-day for Friday night into Saturday. Sunday, second half of the day dry, and then we have some cooling temperatures for midweek next week. By Wednesday, 50s. Back to you.
Pamela, thank you, and you can stay ahead of the rain. Keep an eye on that weekend forecast anytime by downloading our free NBC 10 Boston app, and you can get the hour-by-hour forecast. Even set up alerts for your hometown. Just click on the weather tab.
All right, sports is up next with Kevin Walsh.
Kevin, what are you working on?
A lot of stuff. More than another Red Sox loss, Dustin Pedroia exited the game at his request. Ooh, what's up? Coming up in sports.
Plus, is Governor Charlie Baker one of the greatest leaders we've seen this year, where he falls on Fortune's top 50 list? That's coming up.